Hello everyone, welcome to the Selective Preparation Power Reading Test number 3. Let's get straight into it. So most of the time we will be starting with these closed passage questions. These will be the first text in the whole test or in these videos. Okay, most of the time these will be the first thing. So this time is no different. This closed passage is called Road Tolls Harsh Reality. Okay, so this is a sort of a text talking about car crashes and wanting to reduce the number of car crashes. Now, we have 6 blank spaces, and we're going to have 7 options on the next slide. So I encourage you to read, or pause the video here, read the text in its entirety, and then unpause the video and continue, because we won't have time to read this all together. You'll have to read this on your own. Okay, now moving on to the next slide, where we have all the options to choose from. We have 7 options here, and only 6 blank spaces, as you can see, so one of them will be extra. Okay, in these closed passage questions, one will always be extra, no matter how many questions you have. Okay, so these are all our options. Have a read through these as well. And let's go to question 1. So, road tolls harsh reality. Blank space number 1 or question 1 is over here. So let's read everything around it to see what it's talking about. On Tuesday, police launched their car crash reality check in Federation Square. Something something. It features the wrecks of 2 cars involved in accidents that left their drivers with horrendous injuries. Okay, so this first sentence is talking about this thing that they released, the car crash reality check, right? And as you keep reading, this is meant to sort of reduce the number of car crashes in this area, right? So since this is the very first line, the next line is probably going to be talking about that a little bit. Okay, just talking about what it is. So let's see which of these options works well now if we slot them into number 1. They launched the car crash reality check in Federation Square. Passengers with broken bones were still curled around each other in the wreck. So this is talking about some accident that's happened in the wreck, but we haven't talked about an accident yet. So A would be wrong. Okay, let's try C now. The TAC has run numerous campaigns against the deadly cocktail of speed, alcohol, and drugs. Also not really related to this car crash reality check yet. Okay, we're sort of introducing the topic so far. So C is wrong. F, a concept hatched by Herald Sun columnists Annan Ho and Neil Mitchell. It features the wrecks of 2 cars involved in accidents that left their drivers with horrendous injuries. This works really well because this is the concept hatched or created. Right? Hatched just means created here. So the car crash reality check is the concept hatched, which works well with the next sentence. So this is possible. Let's try G now. Victorian police are struggling to keep such incidents under control and said there is a push for more police patrols. Okay, so the Victorian police wouldn't be exactly talked about here either because this is talking about the concept, this car crash reality check. Okay, so we're just looking for some more info about this specifically. So G is also incorrect, and our answer for question 1 would be F then. Question 1 is F. Now, question 2, it's highlighted over here. So let's read from sort of where we left off. Launched by the Premier, John Brumby, the CCRC aims to cut the road toll by confronting visitors, particularly 18 to 25-year-old drivers, with the devastating reality of motor vehicle accidents. It may yet achieve its goal. Okay, so this is talking about what this car crash reality check is actually there for. It's there to try and reduce the number of car accidents in 18 to 25-year-old drivers. Okay, now A would still not be the right answer because this is talking about some specific car accident that's happened. Right, in the wreck. Because it says the wreck, it means it's talking about some specific wreck. So A would be wrong. B, too many of them are driving too fast, risking not only their lives but the lives of others. Too many are drinking and driving. Okay, this does also work, but there may be a better answer, so let's keep going. Let's keep this in mind. E, but tragically and ironically, it didn't prevent the crash that shattered 8 young lives when a car hit a power pole in Clayton yesterday. Okay, so this one works really well going from the previous sentence because it says, it may yet achieve its goal, but it didn't prevent the crash that shattered 8 young lives. So if you read onwards from this blank space, it says, police called to a scene of carnage, had to drive one of the 8 ambulances taking the critically injured to hospital. Okay, so this is now talking about some specific car accident, which we would introduce with this option over here, number E. So E would be your best answer here, most likely. G, again, is talking about the results of police, but we haven't talked about that yet in this paragraph. Okay, so B would then be wrong because E is a better answer. And your answer is E for question 2. So far, we have used F and we have used E. So now as we keep going, we can cancel out those, or really cross out those options because we've used them already. Okay, question 3. You can see question E, or option E has been crossed out because we've used that already. Now it's just between A, B, and D. Okay. The 20-year-old woman, so in this car crash that's being described now, the 20-year-old woman was trapped amid the twisted metal and bloody glass. Some of the passengers with broken bones were still curled around each other in the wreck from the force of the high-speed impact. Okay, this option is starting to work now because we're talking about a specific car accident here. Some specific car accident where 8 people were injured and this 20-year-old woman was trapped and a lot of people were in this car crash. So now we're talking about a specific wreck. So A could be your answer here. Let's look at B. Too many of them are driving too fast, risking not only their lives but the lives of others. Too many are drinking and driving. Okay, so this drinking and driving thing may not be our option yet because later on we see they talk about speed and booze over here. So you can skip a little bit ahead. They talk about booze here, which means this option might be used in option 4. We'll see. But it wouldn't be used in option 3. So let's cross out B. And D, it is every parent's worst nightmare. Others were lying by the side of the road. Now, this is true. This could be used over here. But since this is the very beginning of the description of the car accident, A would be a better answer here because it's talking more about what actually happened to the passengers and stuff. Okay, so 3, best answer is A over here. Okay, now question 4, the final one on this side of the text. 2 staggered towards police and ambulance officers from where they had been thrown from the careering car. Too many of them are driving too fast, risking not only their lives but the lives of others. Too many are drinking and driving. Now let's keep actually reading after this line to see what it's talking about after it. How many fear the midnight knock to tell them their son or daughter has been killed or maimed in a senseless accident caused by speed and booze? Okay, so this now, the subject of this sentence over here is actually parents, right? Because it's saying how many fear the midnight knock. This midnight knock is referring to when police knock on your door, at a really late time, referring to midnight, to tell them that their son or daughter has been killed or injured in a senseless accident, in a car accident. Okay, so the subject here for this sentence are parents. The parents are going to be fearing this knock and that their son or daughter has been killed. So since the subject is parents here, in blank space 4, or in question 4, you would be introducing the parents. Okay, so 4, your best answer would be D. It is every parent's worst nightmare. Okay, so 4, your answer is D. Now let's move on to question 5. The Herald's son hopes the horror of this accident will stick in the minds of school children as well as the kids already out on the roads. Okay, so I've already used D and F. It's between B and G now. Something the Herald's son has campaigned against so vigorously for nearly 40 years. Okay, let's try these options. Too many of them are driving too fast, risking not only their lives but the lives of others. Too many are drinking and driving. Something the Herald's son has campaigned against so vigorously for nearly 40 years. Okay, this one works really well because this is referring to them campaigning or fighting against people drinking and driving. So this could work. Let's try this next one now. Victorian police are struggling to keep such incidents under control and said there is a push for more police patrols, but said there is a lack of manpower. Something that Herald's son has campaigned against so vigorously for nearly 40 years. So you'll see over here, if we put this option in, it's saying that the Herald's Sun, which is a newspaper, has campaigned against police patrols getting more people. Right? So it doesn't make sense that this newspaper would fight against police getting more people. So this one doesn't really make sense. So your answer is B. It makes more sense that the newspaper is campaigning against people drinking and driving. Okay, so 5, your best answer is B. Now, the last question for this text is 6, and let's see what it's talking about. Something. There has been much headway. This means much progress. But last year, 333 people still died on our roads, and each death is one too many. Then there is the hidden toll. Hundreds more are injured. They are the maimed and the disfigured from accidents that in so many cases are preventable. How many more reality checks do we need? Okay, so number 6 is just going to be talking about something similar to this, right? that there's been too many deaths and that we're trying to better the situation, really. So B you've already used, and D we used in the previous question. So it's between C and G. The TAC has run numerous campaigns against the deadly cocktail of speed, alcohol, and drugs. There has been much headway, but last year 333 people still died. Okay, this could work. This seems like a good answer so far because it's referring to everything that's happened before. And since this is a conclusion, sort of the final paragraph, it makes sense that it would talk about everything that's happened before. People are speeding, people are drinking and driving, and people are taking drugs. Now let's try G. Victorian police are struggling to keep such incidents under control and said there is a push for more police patrols, but said there is a lack of manpower. There has been much headway, but last year 333 people still died on our roads. So this paragraph is not really talking about police. Okay, and this one is talking about Victorian police sort of trying to reduce the number of incidents. But C makes more sense as a conclusion because it's talking about the mix of speed, alcohol, and drugs that these people are doing that makes them get in a car accident. So 6, your answer is C. Okay, now we're finished with this closed passage. So let's move on to the next text. It's called Making a Claim for Fame, and it's a little bit shorter than the previous closed passage questions, so you don't have to worry about reading it, the whole thing, really, or pausing the video or anything. Question 7 is, the advertisement has made this actor angry, rich, well-known, or world famous. So this whole text is really talking about this girl, Amy, who is in an ad for Amy, which is an insurance company, and how the actor in this ad has become an overnight star, like it says over here. Okay, become an overnight star. And now it's really talking about how she's acted, how she's reacting, and stuff like that. So, question again, the advertisement has made this actor, it's in the title as well, making a claim for fame. She's become sort of famous. Okay, now, once we know that she's become quite famous or well known, we know it's not A and we know it's not B. So it's between well known and world famous. Now, between these two, your best answer would be well known, not world famous, because so far we're only in Manly, Sydney, and she's a Melbourne-based singer or actor. So she's only really in Australia. Okay, so she wouldn't be world famous, she would be well known. 7, your answer is C. Now, question 8. The girl in the ad wants the boyfriend to leave her alone, ask her to marry him, buy her a diamond ring, or take her out to dinner. Okay, now your answer will be found around over here. Okay, so have a read through this paragraph. Katniss, who's 29 years old, plays the pushy girlfriend who twists a diamond ring around her finger, sending a very unsubtle message to her man, Todd. Okay, so she is a pushy girlfriend, which means she wants the husband to do something, and she's twisting a diamond ring around her finger. Okay, so twisting a ring around her finger so a ring is a symbol of marriage, right? So it wouldn't really be A, and it wouldn't really be D because we have this diamond ring here. That plays a big role here. So it's between B, asking her to marry him, and C, buying her a diamond ring. But if she already has this diamond ring around her finger, she wouldn't really need she wouldn't really want him to buy her a diamond ring. So your answer is ask her to marry him. Okay? And another reason why the answer is ask her to marry him is because in the next paragraph, it says, in real life, she hasn't had to push a man to propose. So we know that it's talking about a proposal and popping the question, which refers to marriage. Okay? So A, your answer is B, ask her to marry him. Now, question 9. The term overnight star refers to someone who is on television every night, is famous for only one day, is an unknown, or becomes well known very quickly. Okay, overnight star. So what happened to this girl is that she became instantly recognizable overnight, like it says over here. Which means it happened very quickly. Overnight means so one day you're not known by anyone, and the next day you're known by everyone. So overnight, something has changed. So it means something very quickly, and you'll become very well known. So it's not A, and it's not C, because she's not an unknown. She's known by a lot of people. So either it's famous for only one day, or it becomes well known very quickly, and she hasn't been famous for only one day. Okay, because it's been a little bit. It's been a few days where she's been well known. She's been very surprised. So 9, your best answer is D. Become well known very quickly. That's what it means to become an overnight something. Okay, it means just very quickly. So 9, your answer is D. And question 10, final question for this test. Which word best summarizes how Sophie feels about her fame? Is she surprised, disappointed, frustrated, or bored? Let's see. It's probably going to be some dialogue that we find. So we see the name Sophie over here, so let's keep reading over here. Talking to Sophie Katniss, we are constantly interrupted by people saying, "Aren't you the girl in the Amy ad?" Sitting at a pub in Manly, Sydney, the Melbourne-based singer-actor is stunned. There we go. This is where we find our answer. She's stunned, which means she's very surprised or shocked. Okay, so 10, your best answer is A. And now we're finished with this test, so let's move on to the key points to take away. So one that will pretty much always be here is the method for closed passage questions. Always read the text fully so that you understand everything. And just skip the blank spaces, just ignore them. Just read the whole thing. Then you read all the answers that you have, and then you go back to the text and you start slotting in each of the answers in each blank space. Because that's what we should do for the closed passage questions. And next is you can use context clues to guess the definitions of words. So what this word means here, context, it might be used a lot in English. What it means is that it's the words around the text. So for example, if I come back to this text, I want to find the meaning of the word overnight, just like we had to. If I want to find the meaning of this word, the context of this word is the sentence that it's in. IT has taken almost a decade for Amy Girl Amy to become an overnight star. Right? So I'm going to read all the words around it and maybe even the next line so that I can get an idea of how this word is used, and then I can figure out what it means that way. Okay, so that's what I mean by using context clues to guess the definitions. It just means to read the words around the word that you want to know. Okay? All right, now we're finished with this test.